So I am a detransitioner and a formerly trans-identified teen who went through the process of socially and medically transitioning from my female sex to a male identity and back to my birth self between the ages of 12 to 16. I went through the medical process starting at 13 with puberty suppressants, testosterone, and at 15 years old, I underwent a radical double mastectomy to remove both of my breasts surgically and permanently. And at 16, I realized that I wanted to be a wife one day. I wanted to have children of my own naturally. And that transitioning, no matter what drugs I took or no matter what surgeries were performed on me, I never actually would become a man. And I also realized that being female wasn't a burden. It was a strength, and it was something that I wanted to embrace.
What do you enjoy about your calling?
Within my work, I see a lot of pain. I have met a lot of other victims of this practice who have been hurt, who have had their health compromised. And I've met many parents and families that have been torn apart by this. But it's through connecting to those same people that I find a lot of value as well. It's like you said, it's meeting these other men and women and fighting on common ground and values with them and building these wonderful friendships along the way. I never thought that I would have this opportunity in my lifetime to fight for something that meant so much to me and to be able to connect with so many people on such a deep level. And as depressing as it can be sometimes, there's a lot to smile about, and there's certainly a lot to laugh about. I mean, the very fact that we're arguing about men and dresses, it's kind of funny. It's a little funny. The best piece of advice that I've been given is to just keep on going, because with persistence and by believing in yourself, you can achieve anything. I didn't believe this for years. For years in my life, and especially throughout my adolescence, I had been failed over and over again in many ways, by many different people, and even by my own self and my own actions. But after I had been through everything that I knew that I had to do something about it, because I knew that there are so many other people who were in the same exact position as me. So many more than I or you or any of us will ever know. And there's been so many times in this fight when I didn't have any hope, but I just kept going. I kept spreading the word. I kept talking. I never gave up. And so much progress has been made just within these past 2 to 3 years that I've been speaking out. And there's been so many other people who have been joining in the fight against this. And it's just been incredible to watch. Yeah. People say awful things about my mom and dad. People say they're horrible parents for allowing what happened to me to happen. That they should go to jail, that I should be suing them. Some people even say that they should die. They don't deserve that. Because what they were told by my doctors, my physicians, my psychologists, at pretty much every step of the way, that if I wasn't allowed to have this treatment at the age that I was, like I wanted to, if they didn't just mindlessly say yes to everything that I wanted, then I would die. They threatened them with the life of their own child. They never once believed that I was transgender or a boy or their son. They just wanted the best for me. They wanted me to be alive. They wanted me to thrive and be happy. They wanted the result that the doctors told us would happen. They never wanted me to ever go through any of this. And I believe that they went through just as much pain as I did, because we experienced it as a family. They, as my mom and dad, watched me go through this. They watched me become transformed into an entirely different, completely unrecognizable person over the course of those few years of my transition. I know it's easy as an adult to see a hurt child and wonder, well, where were his or her parents? Where were the adults in her life? And it's true that the adults around us, outside of our family, had failed us. But my mom and dad were only doing the best with what they were given. And most of these parents of these children who were transitioning socially or medically are doing the very same, because they're not being given the resources that they need. They're not being offered the truth by enough other people in their lives. They're not being given the support that they need as families to get through this. These parents and the guardians of these children deserve grace, because this is something that is just as painful for them.
I want to ask, what is the basic theme of your message for the conference?
My message for this conference is that we all have a responsibility to our communities, and especially the children within our communities. People often hear my story and they think, wow, whatever is going on in California, it's rough over there. That could never be my country. That could never be my community. But I've been all across the States, and now I've been to Australia and here in New Zealand. And in every single community I've been to, I've met at least one person who is affected by this. Our children deserve to have a responsible adult in their life who will say no to them and help to understand themselves and their fundamental identities as the wonderful, beautiful, unique boys and girls that they were made. Children deserve better than to be told that they were born wrong, that their only path to happiness, to health, is through experimental mutilation. Children deserve better than to not be allowed to go through the only means by which they can become adults, that they can fully mature physically, reproductively, psychologically, and socially.